You're seeing this transmission because something within you is ready to shift. This isn't random scrolling or algorithmic coincidence that brought you here. There's a part of your consciousness that is seeking this message at this exact moment because your reality is preparing to reorganize itself in ways that will fundamentally change how you experience life every day. What I'm about to share represents years of research into consciousness, psychology, and the mechanisms of personal transformation that actually work. You see, there's a way of being that less than 1% of people ever fully embrace, a state of aligned intentionality, where your thoughts, emotions, and actions work in harmony rather than conflict. If you're watching this right now, you've already demonstrated the awareness that change is possible and that you're ready for something different. The question is, are you ready to step through the doorway that's opening before you at this very moment in time? Most people spend their entire lives waiting for external validation that their dreams are materializing in the physical world around them. They search for signs in their bank accounts, relationships, in their circumstances, and expect the universe to prove itself first. But here's what decades of psychological research have revealed. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't primarily about external circumstances or luck or timing or connections. It's about internal alignment between your conscious mind and unconscious patterns. You've reached what psychologists call a critical transition point, the moment when accumulated small changes create the potential for dramatic transformation. Every book you've read, every moment of self-reflection you've engaged in, every time you've chosen growth over comfort has brought you to this exact moment in your personal development journey. You are standing at the threshold of your own becoming. Consider this. In cognitive psychology, we understand that beliefs shape perception, and perception shapes the reality that you experience every day. Your dreams, your desires, your deepest aspirations exist first as neural patterns in your brain that can be strengthened through practice. These patterns, when consistently reinforced through focused attention and emotional engagement, literally rewire your neural networks to notice opportunities and possibilities that were always present but previously invisible to your awareness. This rewiring process is happening right now as you absorb these concepts and feel them resonating in your consciousness. Here's where most people stumble, right at the threshold of receiving everything they've worked toward and sacrificed to achieve. They panic. They tighten their grip. They start checking their phones for confirmation, refreshing their email for validation, scanning their environment for proof that something is happening behind the scenes. This hypervigilance actually works against transformation in powerful ways. Neuroscience research shows us that the brain's default mode network, the part responsible for self-referential thinking and constant worry, becomes hyperactive when we're anxiously monitoring for results every day. This creates what researchers call cognitive load, which impairs our ability to recognize opportunities and act on inspiration when it appears. The art of manifestation in its final stages requires something that seems counterintuitive: strategic non-attachment to specific outcomes while maintaining passionate commitment to your values and vision. Consider the wisdom embedded in nature's most powerful processes. A seed doesn't question whether it will become a tree. It doesn't create contingency plans or check progress reports daily. It operates according to its inherent programming, responding to environmental cues with appropriate action while trusting the biological intelligence that created it to guide the process toward completion. This is the psychological state you're being invited to embody. Now, here's something remarkable that cognitive scientists have discovered. When you maintain this state of purposeful non-attachment to outcomes, your brain's pattern recognition systems become extraordinarily sensitive to meaningful coincidences and opportunities that align with your intentions. Everything you've been seeking has been seeking you with equal intensity, not in some mystical sense, but in the very real sense that opportunities, people, and resources that match your focused intentions are constantly moving through your environment, waiting to be noticed. The difference is whether your awareness is calibrated to recognize them or whether you're too distracted by anxiety to see what's available. While you've been wondering if your efforts are actually working, your consistent focus has been training your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that filters information every second to highlight patterns and possibilities that support your vision. The timing isn't late. It's precisely calibrated to your psychological readiness to receive and act on what appears in your experience. Here's what changes everything. Release is not about giving up your desires. It's about giving up your attachment to exactly how they must appear. When you release the death grip on specific forms and outcomes, you allow your expanded awareness to recognize solutions and opportunities that your limited expectations couldn't have conceived or imagined. This is where pattern recognition becomes your most powerful ally. In systems thinking, we understand that complex problems often resolve through unexpected combinations and connections that linear thinking cannot predict. Your consciousness, when operating in this state of relaxed focus, becomes capable of perceiving solutions that exist in the intersection of multiple domains, combinations that rigid planning could never have predicted or forced into existence through willpower alone. The moment you truly embrace this flexibility and openness, your awareness begins to operate from abundance rather than scarcity. Instead of scanning for specific, predetermined outcomes only, you begin scanning for the underlying essence of what you actually want to experience in your daily life. Take a breath right here and consider this truth. You are not trying to extract something from the universe through force of will or positive thinking alone. You are positioning yourself to recognize and receive what's already moving toward you through the complex web of human interactions, opportunities, and resources that make up our interconnected world. This shift in perspective changes your entire energetic signature, not in some supernatural sense, but in terms of how you show up in interactions, what you pay attention to daily, and how others experience you when they're in your presence. Instead of broadcasting need and desperation from every interaction, you begin broadcasting readiness and capability to handle what comes. And readiness, my friend, is the psychological state that transforms potential into reality through consistent, aligned action. Now, let's address the elephant in the room that's probably generating resistance in your mind as you listen to these words. Your mind is probably generating a dozen reasons why this doesn't apply to you, why your situation is different, why you've been waiting too long for this to be true, why you're somehow exempt from the principles that govern transformation. This resistance isn't your enemy. It's actually your psychological immune system doing its job protecting you from disappointment by maintaining realistic expectations about what's actually possible. This resistance has served you well by preventing you from pursuing unrealistic fantasies that could lead to genuine harm. But here's what's different now. You've been building psychological resilience through every challenge, every disappointment, every moment when you chose to keep developing despite evidence to the contrary. That strength you've cultivated, that's real psychological capital that's about to pay dividends beyond your current imagination. The universe operates on optimal timing, not convenient timing. What seems like delay from your perspective is actually necessary development from a systems perspective that sees the bigger picture of your growth. Every element of your manifestation has been aligning behind the scenes. Skills have been developing. Networks have been forming. Resources have been accumulating steadily. Opportunities have been ripening to the point of availability. Your consciousness has been preparing to recognize and act on possibilities that weren't accessible to earlier versions of yourself. This is why surrender feels simultaneously terrifying and liberating. You're not just letting go of control over outcomes, you're letting go of the illusion that your conscious mind ever had complete control in the first place over complex systems. You're stepping into partnership with the vast intelligence of your unconscious mind, the same intelligence that coordinates millions of biological processes without conscious direction every single second, that processes thousands of sensory inputs every moment you're alive, that maintains your heartbeat while you sleep and dream at night. Here's a practice that will accelerate everything for you. Instead of visualizing what you want to achieve in the future, begin embodying the identity of someone who naturally creates the life they desire through consistent aligned action. See yourself moving through daily situations with the quiet confidence of someone who knows they're capable of handling whatever arises. Feel the energy of being someone for whom positive outcomes flow naturally, not because you're special or chosen, but because you've learned to maintain the psychological states that support optimal decision-making. Opportunity recognition. This identity shift is the secret that separates those who achieve their goals from those who remain stuck in wishful thinking and endless planning without execution. Most people identify as someone who is trying to create change. You're being invited to identify as someone who naturally attracts opportunities because you've learned to maintain the mental and emotional states that support success in whatever you pursue. Take a moment right now and comment below with this exact phrase: I am ready to embody the identity that matches my vision. Don't just type it casually without feeling or intention. Feel it as you write it. Let it be a declaration to your unconscious mind that you're stepping out of victim consciousness and into creator consciousness starting right now. When you truly embody this receding frequency consistently, meaningful coincidences begin to cascade through your experience. The right book appears at the perfect moment you need it. You have chance encounters that shift everything in your favor. Opportunities arise that seem too good to be true, but are actually just the natural result of your heightened pattern recognition and expanded social awareness working together. But here's what no one talks about in personal development. The final phase before breakthrough often looks like nothing is happening. This is actually the moment when everything is happening. Behind the scenes, your unconscious mind is processing vast amounts of information, making connections, preparing solutions to emerge. This apparent stillness before transformation isn't emptiness, it's incubation. It's the necessary pause before integration. It's your psyche taking a deep breath before reorganizing at a higher level of complexity and capability. Most people interpret this pause as failure and give up right before their breakthrough would have naturally occurred. You're not going to make that mistake this time. Understanding emotional states will accelerate everything for you. Research in positive psychology shows that emotions like gratitude, compassion, and joy literally change your brain chemistry in ways that enhance creativity, problem-solving ability, and social connection with others who can support your vision. Fear and doubt create stress hormones that narrow your focus and impair cognitive flexibility needed for creative solutions. When you consciously choose emotional states that support expansion rather than contraction, you literally optimize your brain's ability to recognize opportunities and generate solutions. This isn't metaphysical. This is measurable neuroscience that you can verify through your own direct experience. Your emotional state functions like a lens that either clarifies or distorts your perception of possibilities that exist in your environment at any given moment. Every emotion you feel is either aligning you with your goals or creating static in your ability to recognize the paths toward them that are always available. Resistance will show up in subtle forms as you approach your breakthrough moment when everything begins to shift. It might appear as sudden busyness that distracts you from your practices and pulls your attention in every direction. It might manifest as relationships that drain your energy or circumstances that test your resolve and commitment. This isn't the universe conspiring against you. It's your psychological system's way of testing whether this new identity is stable enough to handle the increased complexity that comes with expanded success. Responsibility in life. Here's the key. Don't fight resistance and don't feed it. Acknowledge it the way you might acknowledge storm clouds as temporary weather patterns moving through your experience, not permanent features of your reality that define who you are. Your job is to remain anchored in your chosen emotional states regardless of what circumstances move through your experience on any given day or week or month. When you're truly aligned, inspired action begins flowing naturally. This isn't the forced action that comes from impatience or fear. This is the effortless action that arises when your conscious intentions are supported by unconscious wisdom and timing. You'll find yourself in the right places at the right times without trying to force connections or manufacture opportunities. Conversations will unfold that open doors you didn't know existed. Resources will appear exactly when you need them most. The difference between inspired action and forced action is felt in your body as you move through life. Forced action creates tension, stress, and exhaustion. Inspired action feels energizing, natural, and aligned. It's the difference between swimming against the current and allowing the river to carry you downstream with grace. Every wisdom tradition speaks of divine timing because it's a fundamental principle of how complex systems operate. Seeds don't sprout the moment they're planted in soil. Businesses don't become profitable the moment they're launched. Your transformation won't complete the moment you decide to change, but it will unfold at the perfect pace for sustainable integration that lasts for the long term. Delays are not denials, they're necessary development periods where unseen processes arrange circumstances for optimal outcomes. What looks like the universe ignoring your requests is actually life giving you time to develop the skills, relationships, and psychological capacity needed to handle what you're asking for without being overwhelmed by success. Appreciation becomes a transformation amplifier when you understand how to use it correctly in your daily practice. Instead of appreciating what you have in order to get more, appreciate what you have as recognition that you live in an abundant reality that's constantly providing opportunities for growth and contribution to others around you. This shift changes appreciation from a manipulation strategy to genuine acknowledgement of what's already working well. When you appreciate from this place of acknowledgement rather than strategy, you align yourself with the fundamental truth that reality is inherently supportive of conscious beings who contribute value to the world around them consistently. Visualization becomes effortless when you stop trying to convince reality to give you something and start remembering what it feels like to be the person who naturally creates the life you desire through aligned daily actions. Your goals aren't future possibilities you're trying to manifest. They're present moment capacities you're learning to access through consistent practice and identity development over time. Instead of visualizing to make something happen in the future, visualize to remember what it feels like to be someone for whom these outcomes are natural expressions of who they are at their core identity level every day. Feel into the energy of living your desired reality not as something you hope to achieve someday, but as something you're remembering how to access right now. This creates coherence between your current identity and your expanded identity, making the transition feel natural rather than forced or artificial in any way. Movement and embodiment accelerate transformation because they help you literally embody the energy of your expanded identity through your physical presence and how you move through space. Your goals aren't just mental concepts floating in your head. They have an energetic signature that wants to be expressed through your physical form and daily behaviors. When you move your body in ways that feel aligned with your vision, you create coherence between your mental, emotional, and physical systems working together as one. Walk like someone who naturally creates what they desire. Sit like someone who trusts their ability to navigate complexity. Breathe like someone who knows their efforts will be rewarded. Here's where everything crystallizes into practical transformation. You are being invited to step into a new identity right now. Not when your goals manifest in physical form. Not when you see external proof that things are changing. Right now, in this moment, the version of you who naturally creates the life you desire isn't a future possibility waiting to be achieved through hard work. It's a present moment choice available in this instant. Every moment you choose to embody this expanded identity, you strengthen the neural pathways that support it naturally. Every moment you choose thoughts, emotions, and actions from this elevated perspective, you literally rewire your nervous system to expect success rather than struggle as your default. This is the difference between trying to achieve goals from your current identity and stepping into the identity that naturally attracts what you desire through aligned being. Most people try to pull their dreams down to their current level of being through force and effort. You're being invited to rise up to the level of being that matches your dreams and makes them inevitable. Take another moment and comment below with one word that captures the energy of who you're becoming. Not who you've been, not who you hope to be, but who you're choosing to embody starting right now. Let this word be your anchor to the frequency you're choosing to broadcast to the world around you. The collective consciousness is shifting, and you're part of that shift happening on this planet right now. Every person who chooses to live from creator consciousness rather than victim consciousness contributes to the field that makes it easier for others to make the same choice. Your personal transformation isn't just about you achieving goals, it's about modeling what's possible for everyone in your sphere of influence who watches how you live. This is why timing is so important in your journey. You're not just achieving personal desires for their own sake. You're participating in a larger cultural evolution where more humans are learning to consciously create lives of meaning, contribution, fulfillment that inspires others. Your breakthrough becomes a beacon of possibility for others who are ready to step into their own creative potential and make their unique contribution to the world. The depth of transformation mastery extends far beyond what we can explore in a single transmission like this. While we're touching on these fundamental principles today, there's an entire framework of advanced techniques for moving from unconscious reaction to conscious creation, from seeking validation to generating value, from hoping for change to embodying transformation in every area of life. This complete system is what I call quantum Kori, a comprehensive approach to aligning your thoughts, emotions, actions, and identity with the outcomes you most want to create in your life and career and relationships. It's not about wishful thinking or positive affirmations alone. It's about understanding and applying the practical psychology of how conscious beings create meaningful change in complex systems that actually respond to aligned, consistent action. For those ready to dive deeper into these principles and learn the specific practices that accelerate transformation, Quantum Kori provides the step-by-step framework for moving from where you are to where you want to be, with clarity, confidence, and sustainable results that last. As we come to the end of our time together, I want to leave you with this truth. Everything you've been seeking has been seeking you. Every book you've read, every insight you've gained, every moment you've chosen growth over comfort has been building to this moment of recognition and commitment. You are not separate from what you desire. You never have been. The gap between where you are and where you want to be isn't distance, it's development. And development can be accelerated dramatically through the power of conscious choice, applied consistently over time, with the right framework and support system. You have that power right now. You've always had that power. The only thing that changes is your willingness to use it systematically rather than sporadically when you feel motivated or inspired. Subscribe not just to stay connected, but to stay committed to this frequency of conscious creation that transforms not just your life, but the lives of everyone around you who witnesses your growth. The more of us who live from this understanding that we are powerful co-creators capable of building meaningful lives, the more the world reflects that truth back through increased opportunities, deeper relationships, and more fulfilling experiences for everyone who chooses this path of development. But remember, this isn't about individual achievement isolated from others or selfish pursuit of personal gain. True transformation happens when we understand that our highest individual expression serves our deepest contribution to the collective good of humanity and the world we share. When you become the fullest version of yourself, you automatically elevate everyone around you through your example. Your breakthrough isn't just personal, it's a gift to the world. And the world is ready to receive what you have to offer when you're ready to step fully into who you're meant to become through consistent daily practice and identity development over time. The question isn't whether you're capable of transformation. The question is whether you're ready to commit to the daily practices that make transformation inevitable rather than hoping for change without taking action. If you're ready for that level of commitment, if you're ready to move beyond hoping for change to systematically creating it through proven methods, then Quantum Kori is waiting to support your journey with the tools, community, and guidance you need to make this shift permanent and create lasting results in every area of your life that matters most. Welcome to the beginning of everything you've been preparing for. Your time is now.